Hello, Martin Roberts here with more top tips for buying and renovating property. And about time I did this one, it's my top 10 tips for buying at auction. Now, elsewhere on my property YouTube channel, Martin Roberts Property Titbits, there's a whole section in the masterclass section about buying property at auction. It's a lot more involved, but I just thought I would just do some top tips for buying at auction, snappy and informative, hopefully, on this particular section. So make sure you like this video and make sure you subscribe to the channel for more of this kind of stuff. So, buying at auction, I guess I know quite a lot about that. So what are my top tips for buying at auction? Let's start with number one. Make sure you've got your finances in place before you even go anywhere near the auction room. And that could be ensuring that a property which you're reliant on selling to enable you to buy the property at auction has actually sold. Because if you start the process of buying at auction, you have a limited amount of time. Bear in mind that most auctions will give you just 28 days from actually bidding and being successful, and that's exchanging contracts at that point, to actually completing. So you've got a very, very limited window of opportunity to sort your finances out. So you cannot go to an auction without having sorted out your finances first. It's absolutely vital you know where you're going to get the money from to complete on the purchase. Number two, always set yourself a maximum price, a budget, and do not go above it. Now, your budget is worked out from a variety of bits of information. You need to be doing your research, going on the internet to search similar properties in that area, finding out what they've sold for in the past. So getting an idea of the maximum price that you should spend on that particular property. Set a budget based on doing your research. Find out what the maximum price for a similar property is, and then work backwards based on what you're going to have to spend to get that property sorted out, including your own time and expenses, to reach a number that you shouldn't go above when it comes to bidding at the auction. So if you've got £100,000, a property that's worth £100,000 when it's finished, you know it's going to cost you £30,000 to get it up to scratch. In simple terms, you shouldn't be spending more than £70,000 on that property, and that would actually not allow for any profit. So maybe you should be setting your budget at £60,000 to allow yourself a 10% or £10,000 profit. So make sure you set a budget and you stick to it. Number three, you need to do research on the property you're buying, and the first part of that is getting a valuation on that property. Now, you can do a lot by checking online, but ideally you want to have a surveyor go around a property and give you a proper comparable valuation. Now, people say, I can't afford to have a survey done on every property I'm thinking about buying at auction. I say get yourself a team of people who work alongside you and do a discount on the properties that you are going to auction to potentially buy, where they'll charge you less for those and you pay them more on the ones you're successful on. So they might charge you 200 quid to do a little simple survey on a property you're thinking about buying, and then if you are successful on that property, then you pay them an extra 2,000 quid to cover all the times you haven't been successful. Get them on your side to build that dream team of people who can help you. Number four, if you're unfamiliar with the world of property auctions, then visit a property auction before you're actually intending to buy, and then just sit on your hands to make sure that you don't actually go ahead and buy something when you're not actually prepared to do so. Visiting a property auction, you'll see how it actually works, and you'll discover that it's not as scary or intimidating as you imagine. But until you've been in the room and you've seen exactly how it works, you won't know. So it's really important that you visit a property auction before you go to the one where you're intending to buy. And there are lots of auctions up and down the country, so there's no reason not to. Number five in my top 10 list of buying property at auction, always visit the property beforehand. It still amazes me that people will go ahead and purchase a property without having seen it. How could you possibly do that? Now, I liken it to crossing a road. You know, you can do it with your eyes closed, and 9 times out of 10 you may be all right, but the 1 time out of 10 you hit a car, it's going to really hurt, and it could cause you a lot of pain. And a similar thing is true in the world of property. You might get away with buying blind, as it's called, without seeing a property at auction, but the one time it goes wrong, it's going to cost you financially very dear. So why do it? It's part of the process. You need to devote the time to visiting that property beforehand and checking it out, and also visit at lots of different times of the day, so you get an idea what it's like first thing in the morning, last thing at night, and through the night, in case there's things like restaurants nearby that has a noisy chucking out, or a school run that means it's very busy in the mornings. You need to check it out at different times of the day to see what that property has to offer in general. Number 6, always read the legal pack. Now, the legal pack is a document which is prepared by the seller's solicitors, and it contains all the information you could need about that property. So legal searches, rights of way, covenants, issues with neighbours, they're all listed in the legal pack, as well as the legal status of that property. It could be that the property you're thinking about buying is freehold or leasehold. You've got to know. It could be that it has a very short lease. The legal pack will tell you. It's normally available well before the auction and available as a download, as a PDF, mostly and generally for free. If you haven't seen it before the auction, then there are copies of the legal pack generally at the auction, but you really do not want to be leaving it to that point to be viewing the legal pack. You need to get that legal pack in front of somebody who's legally qualified to give an opinion on it. So again, build a dream team of people, a solicitor who can glance over the legal pack, not charge you what they might do if they were doing a full process for you, but when they do the full process for you, you give them the work and they get the conveyancing job. So they know if they put a bit of work into helping you look at the legal pack, then the likelihood is they're going to get some work from you in the future. Number 7 in my top 10 list of auction tips, and that is go with a friend. If you are nervous about going to the property auction, then go along with somebody who can just give you a bit of moral support. And that sounds a little bit of, really, does that really matter? But I accept that sometimes auctions are daunting places. So the more you can stack things in your favour, go along with a friend or a trusted colleague or whatever it might be, who can just give you a bit of advice and also stop you doing something silly, hold you back if you're thinking about overspending above your budget, and also encourage you if you're getting a bit nervous when they know that the property is actually something that you've wanted and that you've done your due diligence on. So get somebody to go along with you. It's a fun day out. Oh yeah, really, it is. Number 8, pick auctions at unpopular times of the year. Now, I know it sounds silly, but obviously the less people that are in the auction room, then the greater chance of you being successful. Now, obviously, there's a lot more auctions have gone online these days, but even so, people will be more interested in buying properties at certain times of the year. Classic times when people aren't interested, around the Christmas period, maybe around the summer holiday period. So pick unpopular times of the year to be visiting those auctions in person or online, because the less people who are either online or in the auction room, the better for you, because there's going to be less people potentially bidding on the property you are interested in. Number 9, we're nearly there on the top 10 list, bid with confidence. It's really important that up to the limit that you've set to yourself, you bid as if you're going to carry on forever. It's a game of poker. You want the other people in the room or online to think that you are going to carry on bidding until the cows come home. It may well be that that is your final bid, but you bid every single bid as if you're going to carry on forever. So 20,000, 25,000, 26,000, 48,000, 99,000, 150, 150, 152, 153. You're bidding up to your limit as if you're going to carry on forever. Be confident, because the idea is to make other people think they might as well just give up, because you're going to carry on forever. And to number 10, the final one in my list of top buying at auction tips. That is, don't worry if you're not successful, there will always be another auction. It's more important to walk away from something that's gone above your budget or that for whatever reason hasn't fallen your way than to overspend or buy something that isn't going to be right for you because you can't afford it, or it's going to cause you more problems in the long term. There will be more auctions, there will be other auction properties, so don't get wound up if you're not successful. There will be another auction. So they are my top 10 auction tips. Let's just look at them and review them here. All really important tips. I hope you've enjoyed this, a brief insight into the world of property auctions. As I said, there's more information and detailed advice in the property masterclass section of this website. But for now, make sure you like this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back with more property top tips for you very soon.